Welcome, Carm Capriato, the Service Aftermarket's podcast pioneer with the gold standard of aftermarket business podcasts. Join me for Aftermarket Insights as we advance the aftermarket. And as always, know that you'll learn just one thing. Find us on your favorite podcast listening app and remarkableresults.biz or on my YouTube channel. Hey everybody, Carm Capriato, welcome. Glad to have you here, Town Hall Academy. We're calling this one Understanding the Science. Hang around. This is going to be interesting. Thanks so much to our great sponsors and partners here on the show. Let's face it, your shop management system is the most critical tool in your shop, and NAPA Tracks will move your shop into the SMS fast lane with on-site training and 6 days a week support and local representation. Huge, huge. Find NAPA Tracks on the web at NAPATRACS.com. And shop owners, at the end of the day, relish in the satisfaction of seeing your business thrive, your team motivated, and your customers leaving with a smile. Talk to Coach Chris, Auto Fix Auto Shop Coaching at autoshopcoaching.com. And ready to optimize training with today's class? Well, in just 5 minutes daily, boost knowledge, retention, and improve team performance. Start seeing results today. Join your peers at todaysclass.com. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thanks. I want to welcome Corey Evaldi from Olmstead Auto Care in Olmstead Falls, Ohio. Hi, Corey.
Hey, Carm. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. Appreciate it. Not only are you a great shop owner and you've been around for a while, formerly from Buffalo, but you're also a coach at Repair Shop of Tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
And do you work for this guy here?
I work
we
with
work
him.
with each other.
That's the right question. I always ask the question. I want to hear the right answer. Thank you. Dave Justice is here from Repair Shop of Tomorrow. Hey, Dave.
Great to be here, Carm. Thank you.
Glad to have you here. And Matt Fanslow's here from Riverside Automotive in Red Wing, Minnesota, and the Matt Fanslow Diagnosing the Aftermarket A to Z podcast. Hey, Matt.
Official title, Fourth Wheel.
Yeah, because we were going to do this show, and we said, well, you know, since Matt's in the building.
Poor guy. He doesn't have any friends.
Okay, I'll come in. I'll do the show. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about understanding the science. And he goes, I may just enjoy that. We're here at the NAPA EV Ready Training Center in Canton, Ohio, not too far from the Hall of Fame. We may go there tonight. We may leave early here tonight.
It's a great place.
Is it?
The Hall of Fame is
fantastic.
awesome.
It's awesome?
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. I mean, we've got some Buffalonians in there.
Yep. You will see. Marv Levy is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Marv is there
Who's
for
that
sure.
guy?
Yep. He was
Jim,
a coach.
I have a signed ball from Jim Kelly.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, those were the days. That's when I was a huge fan. Not so much anymore. I don't know why. Priorities change in life, I guess.
How many Super Bowls did they go to?
I think 4.
4 in a row.
And how many did
Stop
they
it.
win?
Just stop
How many
it.
did the Browns go to?
They won a couple.
Just
Might have been
stop
centuries ago.
Stop it. We were hanging out here. We're at the EV Ready Training Center for a whole week, immersed in all that's going on and the buzz that makes this such a really unique course that you got to go to if you're going to ever be in EVs. And during some of the classroom stuff, Understanding the Science came up. And I thought it was so interesting because science is electrical somehow in my mind, Matt. And we're all sitting in here shaking our heads up and down that, yeah, we've got to worry about the science. I want to talk about that. And not only, Dave, we can talk about science when it comes to technology on the vehicle, but science as it comes to how to run a great business too.
Absolutely. Data management.
Yeah, data management, that's science. Think about what algorithms are going to do to help us grow a better business someday.
Without any doubt.
Oh, my. And science from you, Matt, in your perspective, I mean, you're a technology specialist deep in the bays with every new piece of equipment that is ever invented and comes out. He owns it, by the way. Yeah. Have you learned anything new here?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
First thing.
First thing I've learned, or
yeah. Or
just
just one.
the first time I ever learned
No,
something.
something recent. That too.
Oh, I think the ghost voltage conversation. I was familiar with the term, but when it was first brought up concerning hybrids, it was incorrectly applied. And I learned that they're technically not in the way that it was originally thought, but currently that there's means or times where you will witness ghost voltage, and that there's a way to remove that as a possible phenomenon that could send you down the rabbit hole.
I'm so awed by electricity now having just heard some of the lectures and then hanging out in the bays and touching some of the parts. And
He doesn't remember. He touched a high voltage battery pack. He blacked out 15, 20 minutes.
He's looking like Doc Brown right now.
Said his shoulder was a little sore afterwards.
The
told him he
respect for these technicians is immense for what they're going through.
where am I?
It's amazing.
Buffalo.
You're so right,
amazing.
David. And don't get me started on the respect that we actually should have, but sometimes the respect that we don't earn because we're lazy, we're sloppy, we have a poor image. Please don't get me started on that, because we should do a show on how I feel about this and how we all feel about the image that we have.
I agree 100%.
Sometimes it's just garbage. It's your dirty, greasy wrench.
Yep.
And also how the dealers or auto care owners or what have you don't have the kind of respect for themselves that they deserve and
Big time.
should have.
Yep, big
Amen.
time.
Big time.
It's amazing. They discount their abilities.
Figuratively and literally.
Yes.
Or literally, depending on where you live.
And there's nothing you can do about an individual who believes that that's what they had to do in order to get the job.
Or be fair. They felt like by discounting what they were doing monetarily, giving financial discounts, that they were being fair to the customer and being honest to the customer, and clearly did not understand cost of doing business. But we're talking about science, so
They're selling with their wallet. They're selling with their own wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the world around us is changing very quickly. Very quickly.
Okay, let's talk about the science. The science of this whole EV thing. I got to tell you, I was totally blown away. And I believe that if you take a normal, everyday, work hard in the bays, 20-year veteran of being either a mechanical or technology specialist who hasn't played enough on the electrical side of our industry, going to come here and they're going to just flip out. They're going to go back being more humble than they've ever realized what they don't know. It's you don't know what you don't know,
you
right?
don't know, you don't know. Yeah, I guess there's a caveat I have with this, some reservations about it. You got to be careful. And it's something I do like to talk about a fair bit, is that there's a lot of value in applicability versus accuracy. And I think we have to use that, especially when we're talking about the science of something, because depending on what we're talking about, and it's probably everything, if we start really diving into the science, you're going to start getting into areas where it's no longer really applicable anymore. You're going to have a very difficult time applying this new knowledge to what you do day in and day out. So if we want to go with physics, if I had you all draw me what an atom looks like, you would probably draw me a little Bohr model, or it would be the solar system, right? The electrons flying around a nucleus made up of a proton and a neutron. But we've known for, 100 years, that's not what it is at all. But there's a lot of cars been fixed that way.
Yep.
There's been a lot of cars fixed thinking of electricity like water. A lot.
It's a theory. It's not law.
Yeah.
We
So-
actually really don't know how it works.
And you could do that too on the other side of the desk or the other side of the counter or point of sale, the science of psychology and all that. Like that can be a rabbit hole, but there's absolutely applicable, we'll just say things or standards and points that we can truly apply day in and day out. And we don't have to go down the rabbit hole of psychology and what's the latest and greatest. And
Is this science of EV and this vehicle, is it just black and white? Is it just, if you know, oh, it's not. So a diode does this, a capacitor does this, a resistor does this, a inverter does this. If you appreciate and respect all of that, can you fix, can you manage it? Can you, I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
no, I think what you're saying, I think yes. I don't think you have to say black and white, but I think you can use very general terms and general definitions on how certain things work and what they do, and that would be 100% right enough for us to do what we need to do. We don't need to go any deeper than that. There's
You could
no
probably
benefit.
diagnose once you know what each of these native things do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they've been around forever.
I was going to say, a lot of the components have been around for a long, long time.
Yes.
Well, what did you say? It was basically an alternator.
Yeah. It's a different way of thinking about it. But I mean, a lot of these components, a lot of the way that they work internally has been around for a long time. Technology, science has been crazy because if you think about it, the Industrial Revolution was 100, 120 years ago, give or take. Okay. 50 years after that, we launched into space.
Allegedly. Just kidding. No.
Guys, that was
We did.
green screen.
Right.
Yeah. It would have been cheaper
But
to
I
go to
mean,
the moon than it would have
so-
been to set up the movie.
I watched that.
Think of how fast technology has been moving. I mean, from how long the Industrial Revolution was to where the information and technology side came in and to where it is now. And we're
I was gonna
just
say-
getting into AI and all the tools, and God knows where it's going to end. When you start breaking things down into nanotechnology, it's insane.
Now it's the IT revolution.
Right.
Yes.
I was just going to talk about the cell phone.
Look at all the science,
How many
all
star-
the technology, and we take it for granted, and
we
we're
do.
looking at this all the time.
How many years, how many seasons of Star Trek did you watch? And the communicator was pretty bad ass.
Badass. Badass. I want one of those.
The cell phone is way better.
Right?
Because it doesn't flip anymore.
Well, no,
I
they're
still
bringing
have that flip
They're
phone.
bringing the flip back.
The flip is coming back?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Good. It was my wife's favorite phone. It was the Motorola StarTAC. Remember that, guys?
Absolutely.
We probably all owned one. There's probably a million of them. And I'm hearing Bill Weaver this morning, who's the instructor for this week, and he's got a Mustang Mach E1, is it? And how it decides in many cases when to heat the battery. He told a story of a cold Chicago morning and an individual getting home with maybe 7 or 8% charge, and then they were going to end up getting to work and plugging in, and the cold didn't allow the battery to do its thing. And you're sitting here saying you almost have to be a scientist to appreciate and knowing what your car is doing, or make sure your phone is connected to it so that you can get the heck out and up and do something. If you say, listen, I have just a little bit of fuel. My gas tank is just above E, but I'll be okay tomorrow, and the power goes out. And you can't go and pump gas anywhere, and you got to get to work. It's those unforeseen things that the EV technology on the vehicle is controlling itself. You have not much power over it.
You used your cell phone to call in sick. But anyways,
No, the communicator.
to bring this back a little bit, that I guess a quote W. Edwards Deming again, that he said something that to the tune of knowledge without theory is pretty worthless. And that's, I think, essentially what we're talking about is we can go look at all this data on an EV. We can look at all our KPIs on our business and, or some, I don't even think a lot of owners look at KPIs. They look at their checkbook and make a lot of creative leaps as to why it's really high, really low, or why production's high, why production's low. They don't dive in to find out. They don't go and operate with a theory as to why this is happening and then put the scientific method into action and go find out. Let's go disprove my theory. And which is using the word theory incorrectly, but still, I think for the purpose of a conversation, we can stick along these lines. And so, yeah, there's a theory of how a business works. There's economics. There's theory as to how interaction with people. There's theory as how this car or system works. And we have to kind of have a grasp of this theory before we can start garnering and gathering knowledge to do whatever we need to do to fix it or perpetuate it.
How many technology specialists that we have working in our bays, or mechanical specialists, that don't know the Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla story?
Right.
And guess what? You have to know it in order to do it today. I mean, this DC and AC voltage kept coming up every hour.
Knowing it helps you appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly right.
And what these guys did with what they had.
Yeah.
Electricity started out as black magic, man. Static electricity was found, and magicians all of a sudden came into the world.
Lighting like wine goblets on fire.
Right. But nobody knew any of this. Nobody knew what it was or how it worked, but they just knew that like these two opposite materials would repel or attract or do something crazy, and we called it magic.
Back to Star Trek, going, what did they say?
Warp
Going
speed or...
farther than,
Oh,
what is that one?
oh, man, you're putting me on the spot and I should know this.
Come on, movie Cole.
Frickin' peanut gallery.
Come on, Matt. Captain
To
Kirk
go where
says
no
it
man
in
has
the-
gone before.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Very good. Well, we had to pull that right out of you.
That left fielded me. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm embarrassed.
No, good job, by the way, Dave.
put him on the spot.
Thank you for that. It rarely happens. Really happens.
It's unfortunately
Yeah, I
true.
mean, and so we were at dinner last night, and Tracy goes to Matt. He says, "What's the difference between AC and DC?" And so, of course, he explained it to her. And then we're talking about if someone does touch something, and
I had to wake her up to finish it. But
what's this jump kick thing all about? if someone's holding an AC line, you just don't grab them. You have to bump them, push them, kick them. You cannot grab on. If not, you're part of the problem too.
Right.
And again, I'm not saying that our technology or mechanical specialists in our bays don't know that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they need to find a newborn respect for it.
Yes.
By going through a class.
Yeah. So he's talking about our bodies run on electricity, and if you encounter proper amount of voltage and current, it will overcome your ability to control your muscles, and it will apply your muscles however it seems fit. And you can run into a situation where you're touching something, grabbing something, and it's making you squeeze as hard as you possibly can, squeezing every muscle in your body as hard as it possibly can, and you can't let go. Even if you are conscious enough to try to, you can't. So we either use a hockey stick looking hook to pull them away, or if that's not available, you have to drop kick them. Or get a good
Do we
running.
have a video
Can we
on this
try
so
that?
I can really do this correctly?
I bet you there is one.
Tracy has been definitely wanting to for a while, so this should be no problem to set up.
Oh my God, that would be great.
Back in the day, they used to check if lines were live by touching them with the back of their hand.
Yep. Yeah.
Because they knew that it would contract, but if they did it by the back of their hands, it wouldn't be stuck on there, right?
Pull it
But
back.
I mean, that's just what we used to do back in the day. Just imagine a guy up on a ladder, on a scaffolding or whatever, change it.
What's that old thing? You got to fail to learn?
Yeah.
Boy, that's a tough fail.
What happened to the back of your hand? There's nothing there. When they were going through the PPE and the gloves and that respect that you have to have for high voltage, you went into, well, if you're working on those big lines up there, the guys have to wear a completely different set of gloves. They're thicker. They have a bigger, what's the rating called? I'm trying to remember.
You mean for the class rating?
The class rating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're much higher for
Yeah.
voltages to
We
insulate.
learned about arc. We
Arc
saw
flash.
some,
Yep, arc flash.
we saw some videos on arc flash. I mean, I had no idea.
Well, I think the big thing too is if you're not reading instructions, which I think historically we can be pretty bad about, especially starting out, like before we're doing something, that the minute you really open up those high voltage gloves, the timer starts, right? They're degrading.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know that, the shop may have been, with the best of intentions, bought very nice high voltage gloves and leather gloves to go over them and everything. They do care, but nobody looked into it. And 3 years later, they get a chance to use them, passes that just the roll test, but really doesn't have its insulative properties that you would need. It maybe doesn't have visual cracks, but it's no longer safe. It's not providing them a protection anymore, and they could get zapped. And I haven't really heard about anybody dying lately, but I'm sure people have gotten smacked. That doesn't make the news.
And it goes back to education, right?
Yes.
It's always education. That's why you have to come to these EV classes.
100%.
And you probably saw the set of tools that they had here.
Yes.
They look like something that my kids would play with.
Yeah, and I think most techs would look at that and say, okay, I need to have these insulated like this so that I protect myself while I'm taking this stuff apart. And that's not why. It's if you drop them.
Correct.
And now you can create a big problem, especially with some of the,
You've never dropped a 10 millimeter socket.
I mean,
Don't lie to
not
us.
a. It's plural.
Plural. Right.
But yeah, with the battery designs, the chemistry, if you will, when something bad happens, it can get really bad. It's not just arc flash. It's the battery starts on fire, and they're terrible to try to put out. And what would our knee-jerk reaction be? Try to put it out. Don't want to get in trouble, want to minimize damage to the car, to the shop. Can't imagine we're going to get fired. And yet the best thing probably is get the heck out of Dodge and get everybody else out.
Just let it burn.
Get it out, get out.
Hey, let's face it. Your shop management system is the single most important tool in your shop, period. NAPA Trax has made selecting the right shop management system easy by offering the industry's best, most comprehensive SMS. Now, it all starts when a local representative meets with you to learn about your business and how you need to run it. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice, and having local representation is a huge plus. Customizing tracks to your business, whether you're a one-person shop or a large multi-bay or multi-location company, a representative consults with you to help optimize your shop's workflow, efficiency, and profitability. Trax always has the flexibility to do business how you need to do it, which means it can also grow as your business grows. And unlike the other guys, we'll be there for you after installation with the best training and support in the business. Yes, a learning management system tailored to each role in your company. Simply put, Trax was designed and built for shop owners just like you. Visit us on the web at NAPATRACS, that's NAPATRACS.com. In the world of auto repair, every shop has its unique rhythm and challenges. At AutoFix Auto Shop Coaching, they understand that one size does not fit all. That's why we offer personalized business coaching, tailoring our advice to meet your shop's specific needs. Transform your operations with strategies and tools to streamline your workflow, reduce waste, and skyrocket productivity. And when it comes to the numbers, we've got you covered. Our financial management guidance helps you master your finances from cash flow to profit margins, ensuring your revenue grows stronger. Every day, AutoFix Auto Shop Coaching, empowering your shop to achieve more. Visit us at autoshopcoaching.com. Transform your team with today's class, where automotive training is easy, quick, and fun. Just 5 minutes a day on our app can eliminate hours of looking up forgotten information later. It's perfect for technicians, advisors, and managers alike. Keep critical knowledge fresh and top of mind, ensuring your team operates at peak efficiency. Today's class is impactful, accessible from anywhere, and a bit of fun too, and we're not talking about after-hours pizza either. For training that gets results, turn to todaysclass.com.
Does anybody here know of anyone or any shop that this has happened at? These are stories, but in reality, it can happen.
Absolutely.
And which is why we have to be careful.
For EV and HEV type cars, I off the cuff, I can't think about a shop, but you hear about people's garages going down all the time.
Right.
And then shop fires, I think, more often is the lithium-ion batteries for their cordless tools.
That's what just happened to a shop a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Was their cordless tool. They had a lithium-ion battery in it, and it burned the shop down.
Took it all down.
Left it on the charger, and I don't know if it was over a weekend or just overnight. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
Whole shop.
It's crazy. Yeah, because when they burn, it's almost, I don't know, fireworks almost. Like it's just shooting off these globs of really hot stuff. And it hits something flammable, and now it's out of control.
So the EV vehicle that's not performing the way it used to, I'm a customer, I go into a shop, and they say, sure, bring it in. And they've never gone to a course. And they get on YouTube, and they try to figure this thing out with no PPE, with no training, no installation, no anything. Would they be just cautious to even think of jumping in?
I go to, you don't know what you don't know, and a lot of times that could be an innocent mistake, but that innocent mistake can cost somebody's life.
And that's the difference here.
Cost somebody's livelihood. I mean, it's
all
terrible.
All those triangles that are underneath the hood, all around, and the uniquenesses in this platform. Ford calls it this, GM calls it this, Hyundai calls it this, Toyota calls it that. We have this industry problem we've had forever. We have to name our own things, and then these cutoffs. I'm trying to remember what they were. The one round one that was.
Oh, like the disconnect.
The disconnects. Yep. They're all different.
Yep.
Who would have thought that SAE would have got together and says, "Here's the disconnect."
Yeah. No.
That's everything they're saying is 100% true leading up to this point, and also part of the thing with auto repair is it's the Wild West.
Yep.
What we all think is standardized.
Like it's changing.
Yeah.
Like overnight.
Yep.
Again, the world we live in.
Yep.
Things are getting pushed so fast, so hard that they don't have time to standardize it.
Which goes back to the reason we're here, the reason that people need to get to a solid EV training. I mean, if you can go to an EV training that's, say, a 4 or 5 hour at a conference and get a respectful overview of what you can or cannot do, or at least the safety issue, that gets you started.
It gets you started. And then I think networking with people that service this stuff. And then also, I'm going to put over this class. I'm not obligated to. That you meet somebody that's gone through this particular course, 4 day, all day, with NAPA, taught by Bill Weaver, or at least presented. This is one of those things I would recommend everybody of any skill level attend, because he does take it from the safety, which you would think would put you to sleep, right? I mean, that's what everybody remembers going to college, and it's like, oh, shop safety.
Till you see an arc flash.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just need to see the video.
Yeah. Bill, presentation style keeps you awake, as well as the content is really good. And then he takes you, you know, I don't want to say like fully advanced, but a long way. And you've got a group of people going through this that are leaving quite competent and maybe more importantly, safe, like and respecting what they're working on. And they can take that respect with them to the shop. And now the shop, hopefully, and everybody in it kind of respects what's going on under the
And for me,
quote-unquote hood.
I know when Corey went, he came back, and I'll let you speak to it, but he just told me, he goes, that was amazing.
Yeah, it's the best EV training that's ever been out.
By far.
More realistic. It's all hands-on. I tell the story that when I was here, we were doing some real-life servicing, maintenance, repairs, stuff like that a shop in today's world could see. In the future, not theoretics, you know, stuff that could come into your store right now. I was working on their Tesla here, and we were doing an air conditioning service, and I was supposed to be changing the desiccant bag in the condenser. Well, they call me Hurricane Corey for a reason. But, you know, I broke this thing. I snapped it right off. And I'm like, that's real world. That's something that actually happens in the shop. But then you know what we had to do? We had to source the part. We had to look it up. We had to find out where it was, get the availability. We had to send another instructor out to go pick it up, bring it back, actually install it, and get the car back to working operating condition. And where else is somebody going to get that kind of training? That's real life. That stuff happens in our shops every day.
All day.
They talked about you for generations to come.
Oh, yeah. I left a mark on this building, man. I did. I mean, they wanted me to come out and try this out, man. I gave it a test ride.
It was the Evaldi incident.
Carm.
Oh my God. So we're talking about understanding the sciences, and we're not here to teach you the science, but we're here to have you respect it as it comes to EVs and hybrids and ACs and DCs. And it's been off the charts to hear, to watch, to see, to hear the questions and the engagement of the students. And maybe to your point, and you've been to other EV training, and this is my first. It really, you know what it does is, you know, it's a kind of if you will, a shop owner leadership podcaster, business profit podcaster in the industry. It gives me the respect back to you guys for all that you need to have, all they need to know, not only to run a great business. And I'm getting to my point where you came, and you're not at the shop all the time. So who in your shop are you going to send here?
I actually brought one of my technicians.
Oh, you did? Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it lends itself to the fact that if you're an owner and you're listening to this, you may want to come here for a level of curiosity to see if I should send my people, but bring someone with you.
I came because I was asked to help look at the class, but I'm still a person that's very into the technology. Like, there's a part of me that really loves the industry because of how much it changes and all the new things. It's not the same old every day and day in and day out. Yeah. This stuff gets me going. It motivates me. I love seeing it. And I want to be prepared. I want to be ahead of the curve because I know we're gonna see these things. I know we've already done some services on EVs in our shop. And I've always wanted a shop that stays ahead of the technology. And this is the only way to do it.
To Matt's point, too, you talked about Bill Weaver. I mean, best instructor in the industry, in my opinion.
Best instructor.
He will keep your attention and keep you motivated.
Yeah, I've known Bill for a long time. Him and my father-in-law go back long time when he was back in his transmission shop days. But so I've always known him. He's one of the people that are in my contact list that I'm surprised that I have.
Yeah. We did an episode with Bill, just with his mentor, the transmission shop he worked at when he was young. And this gentleman who, Tracy, was he in his 80s now? He's in his 80s. And he came here and we did an episode with him. And he was sharp as a tack. And it was a very emotional episode, and it's coming out. It'll have already been released by the time we release this show. just go to our website, type in Bill Weaver. Bill has done a bunch of shows with us, but you got to listen to the mentor-mentee episode with Bill Weaver. It'll touch you.
That's cool.
Okay, sciences. What else, Matt? What else do we have to know and respect for EV as the sciences side?
How about fluid chemistry?
What's that?
Fluid chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
So here it was. There was a big picture up there under a hood of, I don't know what kind of car it was, and it was an EV. And one of the students said, go back to that slide. Did you see all those coolant tanks? It's just mind-blowing to see.
Yeah. The question that student had was, what's the process? Can you use one of them machines? And he's like, not on every single one.
Yeah. Talk about the mix. Talk about the 50-50. I thought that was so interesting.
Well, yeah, I don't trust somebody in the shop's ability as a chemist to mix this properly or better than what would come in the pre-diluted forms. And, the thing with the pre-diluted is A, it's 50-50. B, it's using the high quality water, whatever that may be. And everyone can argue about what that is and all that. But it's high quality water, properly mixed at the right concentration. And then there's no such thing as a universal coolant.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says. They're wrong if they say there's a universal coolant.
It's just
Get the
dyed
right
different
stuff.
colors. Don't give me yeah.
And I know you buy it cheap from your recycler. You send them all your coolant, and then you just pick the colors you want, and they send it. But it's all the same.
No,
that's wrong. So get the right stuff, put it in there, be a professional. I don't care if it costs 3 times more. Charge the customer accordingly. They're getting it done right. That's the value.
Absolutely.
Game, set, match.
Isn't that the NAPA know-how? Get the right stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, NAPA actually stocks a lot of these coolants now.
Yeah.
Because we've done services on them, and they're right in the store shelves.
Do you buy 50-50?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Not for everything, but we absolutely have a boatload of different types, but different brands.
I can imagine our shop's probably the same as yours. You've got, for whatever reason, a plethora of storage for different coolants. And it's all in the gallons. I have nothing
oils.
I have nothing in bulk for coolant.
As shops, we used to have a boatload of serpentine belts and coolant hoses hanging around. There's none of that anymore. But we have a boatload of coolants, oils, fluids.
A boatload.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Why?
A barge.
Because everybody's different.
I know.
Different specifications.
The weights are going
It's more than
ridiculously
weights.
low.
0W12.
Isn't that the
Yes.
service? Isn't that the services we're doing though?
Yes. Yeah. And
And that's why you have them.
Yeah, and it's not just the weight. 0W50 isn't the same between Volkswagen and whoever else. Kia, they're different designations. They're different. They have different specifications and additive packages, and and so you have to get the stuff that meets their standard. Sometimes you can find that through a Valvoline or whoever you want to pick as your favorite, and sometimes not. You just get it from the dealer or the distributor.
So what else can we talk about as far as the sciences here that you're taking away?
Well, I think maybe not specific to just this course, but in general, we're talking about, for crying out loud, go and learn some theory. Whatever it is you're doing, if you're in the bays, if you're behind the front counter interacting with clients, if you're running a business or managing it or owning it, go get some theory. And if you don't know what that theory is, if you're sitting there going like, I don't even know what class to take, I don't know what to go learn, I don't know what books to buy. Well, but if you're a business owner or a manager, you hire a coach and they will help you find out what's the right book, what's the right classes, what do you need to learn? Here's some ideas of theory to go out and learn. And if you're a technician, network and hit some classes and talk to instructors and figure out where your holes are at that you need to go and plug and fill in that theory. And if you're at work and you're balancing tires, for crying out loud, go learn about radial force variation and rubber or really tire composition, stuff like that to make you better at your job.
So we're all scientists.
Commit
to some
yourself
degree.
to your industry.
Yes.
Some are mad.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. Those are the
Corey.
Yeah. I mean, you're laughing really hard on that one. That was good. Okay. Yeah, mad scientist. Think about it. Any technician that we're talking to who's been in this crazy world of ours, you're not a mechanic anymore. You're not a technician anymore. Yes, you're a technology or a mechanical specialist, but you're also a scientist.
I think what you brought up about the respect of our technicians, our scientists, needs to get out there to the public to realize what this industry is about.
Yeah.
The day of you're a grease monkey or what have you, that's been gone for years and years and years.
But Hollywood keeps shoving it in our face.
Well, I agree, but the reality is there's some brilliant people out there that are out there really making a difference in the automotive world. And it's technology. It's science.
There was this thought that I had actually just yesterday at my house. I don't work in the bays as much as I used to, but I have a DVOM at my house that, believe it or not, I probably use once or twice a week because my kids got all these Power Wheels vehicles. They're old, stuff breaks on them, and my kids destroy everything. And I'm constantly I'm finding myself using this at my house, and I'm like, how many people use this on a daily basis? And I'm like, why am I having to do this?
To fix the Hot Wheels?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you testing, the batteries?
Batteries, chargers, they have speed controllers on them, all kinds of stuff. And you can get parts from them anywhere, Amazon, whatever, the manufacturer, Huffy, whatever.
So you're geeking on the toys.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I actually made one. So my son had one, and the speed controller blew up on it, just riding around on the grass too much, and it overheated it. Well, I found a substitute one that came with a remote control. Now, I can't steer it, but I can make him go forward and back while he's in it.
Corey, you've been working on EVs for a long time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when Bill Weaver showed the picture of the radio remote control car, I'm like, oh yeah, we do this all the time.
Oh my God, this was great. Thanks guys for being here. I appreciate it. Corey Evaldi, David Justice, and Matt Fanslow. This was great. We call this thing Understanding the Science. We had a blast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.